So good morning. My name is Kate Wolf-Liga. I am the Director of Counseling Services, and I have Kyle Zintars joining me today, who is our Outreach Coordinator. And we are here just to talk to you about some of the resources we have available for supporting students' mental health on campus. Certainly, as we know, this has become an increasingly hot topic, and the pandemic has only kind of strengthened our need to know what our resources are. So we're going to take you through some slides, a handful of slides, talk to you about a few resources outside of counseling services, and take any quick questions in the chat and make sure that you have our contact information so that you can always follow up with us. All right, Kyle, anything you want to start with?
I just want to share my appreciation for you all being here to learn a little bit more about the resources that are available to students, because I think as educators, you play such an important part in supporting students. I know that sometimes you probably have those conversations with the students you're concerned about. And I think the more you know, the more helpful it can be to them as well. So I just appreciate you taking your time to be here.
All right. So actually, Kyle, I'll ask you if you don't mind kicking this off.
Yeah, of course. So under the circumstances with the pandemic, we're going to be operating mostly remotely throughout the semester, as we have previously in last semester and starting in March. So we operate primarily on our HIPAA compliant Zoom accounts. So sessions will be set up through that, which means it's confidential. Their privacy is maintained. It's just a little different. They're not coming into the office as they normally would be. So they can set up services with us directly. And there's a list here of all the services that we do offer throughout the semester. Individual counseling, group counseling, couples if both are students, and then some of our outreach and other support we'll talk about a little bit more when we talk about Let's Talk and peer supports. But we do offer psychiatric evaluations and medication management. Although if students are working with a provider already, we try and make sure that they have that continuation. So it's better for them to stay connected if they can, rather than just transition for a semester. And then we do offer consultation with students, faculty and staff. And then we have started providing more suicide prevention training on campus, which we'll hit on, as well as suicide and substance abuse screening. And then my wheelhouse is the outreach program. So we've been trying to do a little bit more, obviously virtually, but I'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to it. It's just different since we're not physically on campus all the time.
So we are currently located at 202 Hewitt Union. So it's the second floor. My office actually looks out at the library, if that gives you a general idea of where we are. One of the things that folks will definitely want to be aware of is that we are anticipating moving back into Mary Walker Health Center with the renovation complete at the end of the spring semester. So although we're not going to be planning to see a ton of students in person, we'll see some students in person this semester. It will be limited. And we'll have more information coming out about that. But again, temporarily, we continue to be in 202 Hewitt, and we will anticipate moving back into our primary location with a renovation. Very excited at the end of the spring semester, excuse me. So I think probably the place that folks can find the most up-to-date information, certainly calling us by phone, 312-4416, but at oswego.edu/CSC. That is where you're going to find, we make a valiant effort, I think, at keeping our posts updated regarding like winter access and some of the changes that we might experience related to a holiday, that type of thing. We have some opportunities for folks to interact with us via email and through the website. So it shows that if anyone is seeking an outreach request. So say you have, particularly for faculty, you've canceled class, or for staff, if you have some programming responsibilities and you have a series and you're canceling and you want to just ensure that your students have some access to mental health information, complete a media and outreach request form so that try to do it 2 weeks in advance, and we'll see if we can kind of plug that hole for you and be able to provide good use of that time for your students. Excuse me. And folks can bring us in at any point related to, I think we go into, actually, Kyle, you can jump in on this because you're the one dealing with it more frequently. But, you know, in the past, we've been requested for some of the general studies classes and to come in. We actually participated in some projects with communication studies classes in the past. So there's a lot of different things people will use us for. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I would say the classrooms that are probably the most important for us to be in would involve first year students who are new to the campus. They don't know too much about what's available to them. And then especially transfers, I would say they're also new and maybe don't have that kind of connection with the campus. So if you are in charge of like a classroom setting that involves students with that, I know some of them are quarter classes, some are full semester. I think we can offer presentations that range in length. So I think I've done like 10, 15-minute presentations, and then I've been able to do half-hour, 45-minute presentations, just depending on the need. So if you, like Kate said, if you have a spot open, or if there's just space that you need filled and you'd like some mental health support, we can offer a presentation. With the peer educators that we have coming back, it helps us to spread that out a little bit more. So if you are open to our students who are working with me directly to come into your classroom and just talk to their peers about counseling services, I think that's a really powerful way to have them connect and feel like they can access that.
Yeah. And some great places for you or students to be able to find updated information, resources, tips, all sorts of things is our Instagram page and the P2P, the Peer Educator Instagram page as well. So at mindful_Oz is our Instagram page. We have, I don't know, maybe 550-ish followers right now, and pretty good updated content pretty consistently for students, especially because we try to have it be responsive to current events as well. So, you know, particularly for our students who identify as minoritized, this summer, we were trying to push out posts periodically that did a lot about just supporting self-care when you are seeing all this stuff in the media. It transcends that specific topic. Of course, we know, but just trying to remind people that you don't have to watch the news and you don't have to watch that graphic video. So just trying to remind people about what they can do. I'm trying to think. I think that covers everything. One other thing I'll just mention, the Instagram page has me thinking about it, is that it's really important for us not to be a silo. We really, really enjoy our partnerships with other departments, other units on campus, and we are participants in the Campus Health and Wellbeing Committee, and really are looking to collaborate wherever possible, because we're not focused on owning anything. You know, certainly we want to be able to guide the direction of mental health engagement on our campus, but mental health really kind of transcends counseling services. So we want to make sure that we have opportunities to engage with other people. So if folks have ideas, that type of thing, please bring them to us, and we'd love to talk to you about them. So in terms of setting up appointments, for the most part, most of our students are calling to set up appointments. We may look at a different interface in the future, but our electronic health record's a little limited in what we can offer right now. So at this point, particularly during the pandemic where most of our services are remote, phone is the best option for us. So students can call Patty, our admin, to schedule an appointment, and they'll be provided some general information. Additionally, if there's a delay at students being able to get in, they will be provided with other resources that we have available, like our drop-in service, which is Let's Talk, or our crisis service, so we'll be talking about those in a little bit. But students will receive reminders. We have a confidential space. We have a specific Zoom contract that has another layer of security or something. We don't know this. We're not IT people, but that we provide services on while we're remote. And students are also provided, we set up a Google site which is called the Telecounseling Hub, just to make sure that we had easier, faster, responsive, but also authenticated access to some of our information. So we do have access to some of our Zoom rooms and stuff, but we want to make sure only students are accessing them. So we have it behind that authentication server. Yeah, students will be asked to complete a brief assessment before they join their remote session. And really, we have the flexibility of being able to offer a single brief service to offering a little bit of a longer stretch of treatment. You know, I guess I'll just say that, a longer stretch of treatment. It's a little challenging with us because we of course follow a semester system. So we can't operate in the traditional outpatient mental health clinic model as a result, but we do have some flexibility and really consider it a social justice issue to be flexible about how we provide services based on need and based on students' access to other opportunities. Anything you want to add, Kyle?
Not really. I mean, I feel like it is this collaborative effort, and a lot of the time we're just trying to figure out what the students' needs are and what the appropriate services would be. So sometimes that is a recommendation for community services if we feel like that's a better fit, or they can have some continuity of care beyond a semester. So just know that those kind of conversations are a big part of the planning process.
Do you want to go ahead with this?
Yeah, sure. So I like to kind of capture this because I think as educators, I taught in the counseling and psych department for a few years, and just being able to have those experiences where students come to you with something that they're going through. You know, I'm missing class today because, you know, stuff is going on with my family or whatever. I think we get those kind of conversations happening quite often, especially when students are in need. Sometimes it's really hard to just know, is this a crisis? Is this something that's just really stressful and challenging to them? How do I approach this? And I do think like the listening and being supportive is the most important part. But I do want you as educators to know that there are different layers to how we provide support to students. And some of the outreach stuff that we're doing, Let's Talk, for example, is really there for students who might not be ready or open to starting a clinical service. So maybe they're not ready to come and work with a counselor one-on-one. Maybe they're skeptical of what counseling is. Let's Talk is working with a counselor, but it's much less formal. They don't need an appointment. They can show up to our Zoom rooms and they just get to chat. They don't have to disclose anything that they don't want to. It's really just to give them a space to talk, ask questions, and just connect with somebody. So I think that's a good starting point, especially if someone that you're talking to or one of your students is asking questions but is unsure if they want to go to counseling. Let's Talk is a good first step. So I do recommend that quite often. And we do have good success with that. Some people use it as they need. Some are like a one and ask questions and then they start up with counseling. Some are just, they needed to vent about something and they're good. So just know that that's available. Our schedule will be announced. I would say you can follow our Mindful Oz account to get that probably quickest. And then our P2Ps, which is the peer educators for the Counseling Center, they'll be offering, they called it T-Talk last semester. We're not sure if we'll stick with the name, but they're going to be offering support drop-in as well. So again, being present on Zoom and being able to have students just come in and talk to someone who gets it, right? They're also students, they're undergrads. A lot of them are going through very similar experiences and circumstances right now. So maybe it's just good to have someone who is really isolated, hasn't made the connections on campus or can't access their friends to just come and talk to somebody else who gets it. So again, it's our peers they've learned all the information about counseling services and they can make recommendations and referrals if needed. But sometimes it's just, they just want to talk and that's okay. So they would be really excited to have students show up because last semester it was a little hard to get people stopping by. So if that is a good recommendation you can offer, that would be great.
So just very briefly, crisis support, again, it looks a little different being remote, but we have this rapid access offering where students who are in need of support can access us from 9 to 12 or 1 to 3:30. So we have people assigned to these slots and all they have to do is just call and Patty will connect them with the appropriate counselor's room I think she sends it to them by email really quickly, and then they have access in that way. And whenever we're closed, the same phone number can be called, our main office number, and the message obviously changes to point folks who are needing crisis intervention to access option 2. This is how this is managed, by a third party vendor. They have me on kind of like the overflow or the consult if they don't know what to do with a situation. But they've been really responsive. They're good about picking up all of that stuff. So we haven't had too many issues, and it's good for us just to basically feel like we have 24-hour coverage for students. A new thing that we're really, it's not new for us to offer suicide prevention activities, as Kyle had mentioned, but we have a new grant to help us do so in a little bit more of an intentional fashion. So right now we're offering question, persuade, refer, and we have trainers across the campus. So we've got representation in every school, in college at the campus. We have most of the major units represented for instructors. So we did that really intentionally because, as I said, mental health isn't just a counseling services function. It's really on all of us. So we don't want to leave people feeling uncertain about how to manage these situations. So this QPR, question, persuade, refer, is a suicide prevention gatekeeping program. And so it's about 90 minutes to take the training. So oftentimes we recommend people do that in a department meeting, that type of thing. Call us in and we'll get you set up with a trainer or two to do that. And like I said, 90 minutes. And the feedback that we've received, if folks feel really a lot more confident about being able to have conversations around this stuff. So just get in touch with us. Our information's on the website, or you can email csc@oswego.edu and we'll get you to the right people. If I have time, I'll drop it in the chat as well. And you can always feel free to email me. Catherine Wolfliga is how I come up in our directory. And then part of that is suicide and substance abuse screening with students. We do this anonymously and then provide resources at the end based on their responses. We haven't had a ton of engagement in this. It's something we anticipated doing face-to-face when we got the grant. It didn't work out that way. So, so that's something that we will be continuing to improve on. I'm gonna just skip through these next 2 slides because there's a couple of other resources for off-campus services that I did not send to Kyle ahead of this presentation because I just didn't think about it, that I wanted to share with folks. So here's our major contact information, but I wanted to share, let's see if I can get this moved to the right screen. This report and incident page is housed in student conduct, and Kyle, can you verify this is coming up?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, thank you. Never know if I've shared the screen or the tab. So there are different incident reporting features on here that folks can use. So the student of concern referral form oftentimes is what folks will use if they have some concerns about a student, that might be in their class or they've interacted with at their point of service. So I want you to be aware of this, and you could just keyword search oswego.edu report an incident to get to this. Another one is our what we're calling our gold folder, green folder. A lot of schools, if you've worked anywhere else, any other colleges, you've seen a red folder. And this is faculty and staff crisis resources. Again, it's probably something you should keyword search because it's not posted on the student affairs webpage and like the easiest place to get to. It's on the behavioral intervention team site, which is again not easy to navigate to. But one of the things that's really handy dandy about this little form is we've got a number of scenarios that give folks some ideas about how they can respond to it. So if you have evidence that, or some suspicions or observations that a student has been using, it says, well, what that looks like, how to recognize it, how you might respond to that, expressing concern and care, how to refer, what's available to you to refer to, and then where to report it. And then that student of concern referral form happens to be referenced here. The last two that I will quickly show you are the crisis text line. This is something SUNY-wide that is being used. It's a national service, but we've got this being promoted by SUNY. So this is something that students can access, anybody can access through texting. It's just 741 741, and we use the Got5U. This stuff I can send out separately to anybody who's showing on the sign up for this calendar event. But the last one is the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. So let me just get back to our stuff, which of course I can't see because my screen's not set up right. There we go. So again, to get additional resources from us, information on resources, please use our information that's available to you. And if anyone has any last minute questions in this last minute that we're here, please let us know. Kyle, anything you want to add as we wrap up?
I think that's it. I think we covered everything, but just know that we're here and can support, especially if you have questions and anything that you're just unsure of. I think, I've worked with a number of faculty members who they were concerned about a student. They had a quick question. Reaching out to us is okay to do.
Okay, and so signing up for the training, I'm going to put my email address in here. I will be referring you to somebody else, but it's just easiest for me to put this in here right now. So you can email me and I will get you connected to the right person to set up for QPR training. And we have one of our trainers who are on this call right now. Andrea, I just saw. Thank you, Andrea. All right, thank you everyone for joining us, and we hope to be in touch. Hopefully we'll be able to see each other in person at some time in the next 6 months or so.
Good.
Take care, be well, attend to your own wellness and self-care.
Take care.
Have a good one.
Thank you. That was good.
Thanks,
I was
John.
listening on both.
Oh my gosh, it must have been difficult.
Can't imagine.
It was, but it was good. As long as I remember to mute on the other screen. I'm going to end this session, and actually we don't have a next session, but I'm going to come back because the backup presenter had to cancel. So thank you.
Okay.
And
Thank
we'll
you.
have this posted sometime tonight, the video recording posted.
Sounds great. Thanks, John.
Thanks. Good seeing
Bye-bye.
everyone. Bye.